Oh God, yeah, and some of which our friends were mutually acquainted with these guys, and they even know it's total rubbish. It's total rubbish, but the left wing media, they seem to use it as propaganda still to this day. You got Chris Matthews sitting there.
They're just they're just pawns taking their orders from their bosses. That's
Yeah.
why the liberal media's ratings are so low.
Oh, I
Hardly
agree.
anyone watches them. It's about cats flip and some space cadet subject of this and that, and then people
Yeah.
that work for their news outlets aren't allowed to be real journalists at all. They're not allowed to have independent. They're like robots, man. I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
so gaudy and boring to watch them at all.
Yeah, I know.
At
It's
least on Fox News Channel, they can go off a little bit and have a freaking opinion and not be chastised for it.
no,
Now, they might get counseled at the end of the show if their producers didn't like what they were doing. Sure, and they got to alter their junk, but I mean, they're not getting hamstrung and fried as much as the liberal media does their journalists. I mean, it's not even journalism. It's just propaganda. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Look at how they do the unemployment statistics. All you got to do is walk down the street, and half the knuckleheads out there don't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one's buying their bull crap.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
actually, if times weren't so screwed up, it would actually be extremely humorous. It'd be like they should be on Comedy Central.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that one. I mean,
like Tag Dad Bob.
Yeah, yeah, or be on SNL.
Like, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah. And I agree with you, man. I mean, this is so insane. I have never in my life seen this before. I mean, Chris Matthews has got to be the biggest left-wing suck-up I have ever seen. But then again, he was getting cups of coffee for Tip O'Neill back in the day. So, you got to figure that from some left-wing schmuck. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he is totally out there. But it's like, how, I don't understand how the left has metastasized itself to every facet of the media, whether it be the music industry, the film industry, the news business, the newspapers, and even radio. I don't know how they've metastasized themselves this far without the average person going, this doesn't make any sense. You want to address that a little bit?
Yeah, I know. Well, I even feel, to expand upon what you're saying, I even kind of feel sorry for genuine liberals out there.
Yeah.
They don't even really have a political home. The Democratic Party is no longer a liberal party. That's a freaking leftist party.
Oh, God. It's turned into the socialist communist party.
A genuine liberal is not going to want to, jump on board with the GOP. I get that,
Yeah.
I'm not even really anti-genuine liberal.
Right.
I'm anti-leftist.
Yeah. Yeah, as am I. I mean, I will say,
liberal, you guys can go at it at the bar, make fun of each other, jock each other's, pull each other's goat, what have you. But at the end of the day, most of them I've met can do the same thing that a conservative or a libertarian can do it, where, a person's a person, the politics, the ideology.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
leftists, they got like they're like robots. It's like they've all had lobotomies. I don't think they're capable of free thinking.
No, because
I don't think individual free thinking is not even possible with them.
I agree, Mike, but you see, here's the thing. With a leftist, especially the ilk that the street vermin that are out there with the Occupy movement, etc., they have drank the Kool-Aid through years of proselytizing through college and public school. So they don't know any better. They're useless idiots, or useful idiots, I should say. To us, they're useless.
Well,
but
I would maybe a good way of describing it is widespread ignorance.
Yeah. That, and
You
I'd
got an
say,
entitlement mentality instilled in their minds on a portion of them.
yeah,
Okay, on a portion of them, you have an entitlement mentality ingrained in them.
yes.
You know, where they've never had the opportunity to free think or even try a different environment to get exposed to something different.
No, I
Okay,
agree. I
and
agree
so
with you.
when you have an entitlement mentality, it's hard for you to understand that. Hey, something pays the bills, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody has to cover
That
that
function
check.
apart, they don't really register as much. They register more of what they want
Yeah.
versus how things really work.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm confident that the more people learn and the more they learn how stuff works,
Yeah.
they might have a change of heart down the pike. Let's face it, none of us are perfect out there. We're all humans.
Yeah.
And people, as they get older, we change and grow, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Okay. And maybe one day, they can figure out some things and learn some stuff
Yeah.
and start asking more poignant questions, such as how does stuff work?
Yeah.
I'm kind of relieved with what I'm seeing with Generation Z, the real young ones.
Yeah.
It looks like they're doing their homework more than a lot of the people in Generation Y are.
Yeah, because it's like they're so tapped into the social networks that they're picking up conversations like we're having right now on YouTube and Blog TV, and they're picking up the conversations on Twitter. They're watching Facebook because they're tapped into this social media and they're exposed with this in your face, um, Americanism, as what I'd like to call it, or in your face patriotism, because they're not exposed to that in the public schools. So, in a way, it seems cool to them. I'm going to say we're like the counterculture, Mike. Would you agree with that? We're like the counterculture. The left wants us all to
I
be.
don't know. But you know what? If I was them,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to reverse the shoe, don't you? You got to empathize a little bit.
Yeah.
If you were able to see the dysfunction all around you in their generation,
Yeah.
and then you're hearing stuff from other people who have seen better times,
Yeah.
and they know it's true
Yeah.
that other generations have seen better times than what they're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Maybe they're wise enough, believe it or not. Maybe we've got a younger generation coming up that's going to be a lot wiser than some of our older generations have been.
Yeah.
And it's starting to dawn on them like, hey, I want a future, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of this stuff doesn't make any sense to the average person. I mean, even guys like you and me that have been around for 30 some odd years, we're scratching our head and going, what the hell is going on? I mean, wow. Right?
If you think about it, a lot of us have been very fortunate.
Yeah.
We were able to grow up in good times.
Yeah.
And, we're younger. Even though maybe at the time we didn't realize it, we had it pretty good.
Yeah.
If you look at how other countries are and so forth, and
right,
how the times are now under this socialist experiment going way wrong.
Yeah.
That
I agree.
Obama's doing and so forth. But maybe you got a generation that's kind of tuned in. They obviously can't get jobs. They have a little bit more free time to research, learn. Maybe they're frustrated. Maybe they're like, why don't I have the opportunities that my big brother had, or
or my dad, or my mom,
older cousins, or uncle, or what have you? So they got this time to research more and weigh out, a set of opinions versus another set of opinions, and maybe they're coming to better conclusions than generation. How a lot of Generation Y did it with voting in Obama with the hippies and so forth. And good for them. In the long run, if we can fix junk, if we can get everyone to see the bigger picture and fix stuff, politically speaking, out there, maybe we can make amends. Maybe there could be currency reformations. Who knows? There's so much stuff that's just so messed up that will have to be reformed. But, you can't just operate something that doesn't work to infinity either.
No, you can't. You
I mean,
can't.
at the very, eventually it's just going to implode on itself.
I agree with you, Mike. I think we're on the edge of that right now. I mean, look at Greece, look at half of Europe. You cannot have these massive entitlement programs and have a sustainable economy when your average retirement age is like 35 and you want to sit out on the beach in your Speedo and live the utopian dream. It just doesn't work. Agree or disagree?
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
you got Southern Europe. They've been downgraded. We've been downgraded.
Yeah.
You got all this entitlement spending, and I'm not a proponent. I'm not someone who thinks that we should 86 the poor. I just think we should do things efficiently and smarter.
Well,
I really support a baseline income.
Yeah, and why don't you explain to the audience about that? Because I want to have a discussion on that.
Okay, some of these ideas are not new. Milton Friedman and different intellectuals that went to Harvard and Yale and all that stuff back in the day. Everyone's come up with countering ideas to try out for trying to solve problems in a society.
Yeah.
Okay? And to make a long story short, if they want to, they should just go read it.
Yeah.
Just go read his books. But to make a long story short, basically what he's getting at is we're going to pay for poverty no matter what.
Yeah.
I personally cannot stand poverty.
I don't like it either, man. It's the worst kick in the balls that you
I think
can
it's
get.
manufactured.
Yeah, I agree.
And it doesn't have anything to do with race.
No.
It has everything to do with a person's disposition.
Yeah, I think it's attitude based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what Milton Friedman was saying is they should reform the tax code system to where all citizens of a society receives a baseline income.
Right.
Whether you work or don't work.
Okay.
But in doing so, you get rid of a lot of the welfare state.
Right.
You got to save money.
Yeah.
Increase efficiencies, and then just put money directly banked into people's pockets.
Right.
And set people free, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You're still going to have churches, synagogues, not-for-profits and all that that's still going to do charitable stuff out there anyways.
Right.
So even with this system, you could have still people, I suppose, could still fall through this crack somehow.
Yeah.
Need help, and I'm sure that, a lot of these not-for-profits, these churches and synagogues and so forth will still do the things that they do. Okay?
Right.
But, just think about all the possibilities of how we have our current problems today.
Yeah.
An implosive scenario.
Yes.
That they're running right now.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about how they could not mess over people, cover the basics so no one's starving to death, stuff like that, and then have a legitimate shot of doing deep overhauling reformations that are required.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, if you don't do anything about it, and you keep doing it the leftist way,
yeah,
obviously it's all going to implode.
Yeah. Well,
so you can ignore problems, and you can just, get out there and tell everyone it's okay when you're a liar of everything all the time. Well, 42 cents of every dollar brought in on tax revenue is only paying interest, compounding interest on our national debt.
I agree with you. Yeah, absolutely.
So what you got the left wants to use this crisis and slam home something close to communism.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think you're right on the money on that because that's my same opinion.
On the right, I think they know that the problems are so profound that I think, believe it or not,
yeah,
I think a lot of them are open-minded to a lot of different ideas.
Yeah.
Because obviously the current course we're on isn't working, is it? No,
not very well. I mean, but let's take this apart piece by piece, okay, for a second here. The IRS, believe it or not, was was founded by a leftist. It was founded by, what was it, FDR or Woodrow Wilson? Was it Wilson, Mike, or was it FDR? I know it was one of those.
Woodrow Wilson.
Okay, so Woodrow Wilson, who was